Hey everyone, good to be back on Sample Access Podcast. The last time around, it must have been just two of us, but this time we have an addition. My name is Guiga. I have Nels here. Louisa is also on the call. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for being a part of it. I'll just let Nelson do a small introduction. If anything, is the reason why we were away for a long time. So yes, Nelson, welcome back.
Oh, yeah. I guess this is like the second episode in a while. I think the last time we were talking about like coming back and doing more stuff, but life happened, I guess. So we had a couple of things to do, but it's good to be back. It's good to be back again to get into the groove. And right now we're trying to, you know, at least with the addition that we have right now, I think maybe she's gonna put more pressure on us to do as many episodes as possible. Because the goal is still to put out as much content as we can and talk to people about like music and talk about music. We still remain the same grounded guys as we were in 2020, so we're still gonna push forward from that. But I think we had things going on. We got things going on. I had things going on. Even Louisa herself had things going on as well. So, but now we decided to kickstart again and yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited. It kind of feels like my life has been lab, lab, school, work, lab, school, work. So I'm like, I need some good, good vibes again. And I always get good vibes when I'm recording sample access. So yeah, great to be back. Great to be back.
Hello, Louisa. Officially, we would like to say welcome to you. And for those who may not know, okay, so I'll do some introduction of the podcast. What we do basically is talk music, African music, and specifically we talk about samples in African music. Of course, there is a Nigeria domination, but pretty much that's what we do. And Louisa has also been a big voice on samples and music, crossing over from generations from older generation to the new generation, and it's been a good time learning from her and bringing her on board the podcast as well. So Louisa, let's have just a little bit introduction to you and your work, and welcome to the pod.
Thank you. And I'm really excited to be here. I know we spoke last year, but like Nelson said, things happened, but we are here today and I'm very excited. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm Louisa. On Instagram, on social media platforms, I go by the name G's Louise. I like to call myself a music enthusiast or a music analyst. Basically, what I do is I analyze songs, talk about them, I find samples, and I also talk about them. And I also call myself a music plug because I like to put people on to music that's not really mainstream. Yes, so that's just a bit about me, and I will be here. Finally, I'm a part of the family, and yes, you will notice that when I start talking about music, I can't stop, and I believe that is why we are here.
100%. Good to be here. And just, I'm going to throw it back to you. Just speaking about um, music and what's been going on all over. I mean, in the year 2025. You are a fan of music. Both of us are as well. Louisa, what have you been listening to? January, February, and the first quarter of the year just wrapping up. Is it heavily Afrobeat, or are you all over the world?
Um, I'm very heavy on Afrobeats. So I do have some strange songs that you find here and there in my playlist. I listen to anything that sounds nice, but I'm heavy on Afrobeats. I was listening to last month, it was Somebody Like You by Lil J. I really, really, really love that song. It's very beautiful. I like to describe it as a song that sounds like sunset. And if you watch the video, it also has the same type of vibe. And I've also been listening to old songs like Repete by Black Magic, which, by the way, I just discovered this year. I don't know. I didn't know it was released in like 2011. And 14 years later, here I am learning the lyrics, loving the song as if it was just released today. So that's just a note that music doesn't expire. So that's what I've been listening to this month. And in the month of January, I was not really listening to anything. Well, I was, but then let's say Mr. Wale, I don't know, by Jesse King Booga, I believe. I really took a liking to that song. Don't understand what he's saying. I don't speak Yoruba, I'm Igbo, but people translated it for me. And the song is just very beautiful. Instrumentally, it's full. It's something that was very necessary in this day and age where we have people that are just in the studio producing, but this time is more like live instrumentals and olden day music. So it's something that was really refreshing, and that's probably why I couldn't stop listening to it. So that's just what's been on my playlist so far over the months.
All right, now
Yeah, oh, for me though, the usual for me. I don't have a lot of like stuff that I listen to that is like very current, but I have tried this year. Goiga, you can hear me. I am trying now to be as updated as possible. Because usually I always like to listen to my old songs, put them on repeat, and because there's so many songs available that you can find new old songs all the time. I'm kind of stuck most time listening to songs from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but for the past 6 months thereabout, I've been trying my best to like get into the Afrobeats groove, and I've been listening to a lot of Ruga. Ruga is my guy. Ruga is the guy that I really like. I really like his vibe. Ruga, Benson, Benson has been doing real good. Buju, aka Buju, or formerly known as Buju, as well. And now you're going to be shocked, but I had a phase one time in January that I was listening to a lot of songs from the early 2006, 7. So stuff like we get many rappers, but then we have to see, or stuff like that, like Otiya by the big man himself. And also I also listen to stuff from Nice as well. Also listening to I went back to listen to Two Faces album. I think I told you about it when I started to listen to that album again. A Grass to Grace, awesome album. It just reminded me of the early 2000s as well. And then I think lately I have been stuck on Rema's Is It a Crime? Of course, because of the sample, but I just love when like genres, interchange in such a way. And I remember there was a lot of fuss about it because last year the would I say the snippet had dropped, and everybody was kind of like speculating about how good the song was going to be. There were talks here and there about Sade not like clearing the sample, but people just talking their stuff, and then people they started talking about the fact that if he did a very good second verse, it might be the song of the year already in January. And I think I would have to agree with them that so far so good. It might be the song of the year for the at least for the past 3 months. But then Ruga dropped recently, and I think he might take some stuff as well. And a big shout out to Tiwa Savage too. I feel I need to say something, and I know I probably wouldn't say this all the time, but I don't give Tiwa Savage enough props. I mean, I've always loved her music, but I really not understood how important her music is to like the Nigerian culture and impact that it has given over the years. She has one of the strongest debut song of all time in the Nigerian space. Like Kili Kili Love, that was the first song she dropped as an artist in Nigeria. That's crazy, right? But then, yeah, I listen to that and also love Attention as well. But I'm going to stop talking now so I don't take off the old time. So, Brega,
yeah,
what are you listening to?
yeah, right. I mean, it's inexhaustible, right? There's always a long list of music. If you go to your Spotify or your YouTube music, you find all the things you'll be listening to. But I am heavy. Okay, not heavy, but I think I like the old guys. Sonny Adi can be very random. Olufaje Mirokun is a particular guy. He's an OG, but I just seem to have taken a liking to him in the last couple of months, late last year, and then this year. He has this particular album. Let me try and remember. Um, yeah, but there's just one album that he has that I really like. Track one and track two. I blast it for like 20 minutes, and then in 2 days I'm hungry again. That's like the one that I keep on going back to. Apart from that, um, other artists coming randomly. Lungu Boy by Ashake. I've just started seeing the lights. I the first listen was I think when he dropped, and I was like, this one is not hitting like work of art. And then I left it, and then I came back. I looked that the sequencing from start to MMS, MMS took off and everybody enjoyed MMS, but when you go back to mood mentally, I swear, like this is not a bad album. So yeah, I've been
Yeah.
going back to Lungu Boy a number of
I
times.
need to ask you a question, Greg, quickly. And I know we are
Go
still
ahead.
like catching up, but does he have a trifecta now, according to you?
That's a
You know why? You
very
know what? You know why? You know why I'm asking the question? Because I know, like, you said something about. I think you said it in passing sometime on Twitter that, of course, he had very two great, a debut album and a sophomore album was solid, but you were not so sold on Lungu Boy. I was sold on Lungu Boy first listen, not because of the words or how he did it, but sonically. I thought it was great sonically, right? I later on got used to the lyrics, like some of them, and I'm like, this is actually a very, very solid album. But for like in terms of sonics, I knew from the first listen that this was a solid album, right? But then like I know a lot of people are still arguing and like I don't think it's a trifecta. I know a lot of the OGs, for example, I think Dami Ajayi already like said something about it from Beyonce that he didn't like what he did, it was very straight up with it. And
yeah.
first time in a while that I wouldn't agree with the OG. With all due respect, I think that's like a trifecta. But like, I want to know what you think, though.
So yeah, I'm not a music writer or but this big connoisseur, so I may not have all the data and the analytics and all that. But sonically, the sound is really good. It was just yesterday I was listening again to mentally to skating. Skating on first listen for me was what is it? What is it saying? What do you mean skating? But then when you listen to skating and you hear the effects, the sound effect of bang and the ra that somebody says in the background, and it tells me that a lot must have gone into the sonic work done on that album. Mood is crazy. Mood is EDM and Afrobeat, and then there's a reverberating voice in the chorus, and then you go to the simple system applied on the song with this Anaya Kodo, what's her name? Baby, to what's the title of that song? I mean, I can go on and on. This is not an Ashake show, but I agree with you on the sonic exclusivity or sonic quality of the album. Why it wasn't easy for many of us to accept it as a very good album was that, I mean, Work of Art was high up there. There's a feeling that you get from it. Remember, Amogbe, what are the other tracks? Very, very nice tracks. But this one on first listen, we just felt like, why worldwide is slow, and then after 2 months it's like it's not bad, and then you can go on and on and on and on. So I feel like yes, back to the question trifecta, at the end of the day you have to agree music is not just the same beat from what's this guy's name, Magic Sticks. He went in a different direction production wise, and I think we will be biased not to give Lungu Boy or that three-peat effect, or not to give Ashake that three-peat award of the trifecta. So yes, I have to agree. Other than that, I've been listening to some Black Sheriff, a lot of Manifest, and yeah, I go back to church sometimes, Babara, CNS, Cherubim and Seraphim Church of Nigeria and Surulere. They have many albums that I like. I go back to them randomly. Hillsong United when I feel the gospel nostalgia, and then yeah, those are some of the things I've been listening to. I thought we wanted to catch up on that. Louisa, do you want to maybe add to what you have said regarding music in the last month or past 2 months, and what's the environment?
Yeah, actually, still on the topic of Ashake. Um, when his album came out, I also had my doubts. Sorry. I also had my doubts about the album. I actually spoke to people about it and I said some of the music sounds like music that belongs in Crop, Zara. I don't know if you're familiar with Bershka, H&M. Like they just have this type of style that's like a street style. And I said that when I heard a song like, yeah, when I heard Skating, I heard Active, it was very centered around that type of aesthetic. And I know I was quick to judge because it was the same with Work of Art. I was skeptical about it, but then it's like I gave it like a month or two for it to marinate. And then I came back and all of a sudden, Remember started making sense out of nowhere. Mogwe, that one was my best from day one, but I started noticing these songs like Great Guy, I Believe, And the same thing with Lungu Boy. I went for Ashake's concert last year, September, in Berlin. And after that concert, my ears opened. I started paying attention to mood, and that song is so beautiful. I love the sound of guitars. So I was sold when I heard the guitar that just came in out of nowhere. It was just so surprising, and it was very beautiful to listen to. He was just pouring out his heart on the song and actually telling us, how life is. Sometimes he just wants to be alone, and he just puts ink on his skin when he wants to feel normal. And I think he has said that before, and people acting surprised about his new look is, to me, it's not surprising because he said it, but people were not listening. And also, like a song like Wine by Ashake, which is also a sample. We can talk about that another day, but I really love how they chopped and sampled the song. And it really suits Ashake. They turned it into like a Jamaican type of vibe, which um in comparison to the original, it's not supposed to be a Jamaican vibe. So I'm just amazed by how they actually managed to do that and give us that vibe. And there was just something for everyone on the album. That's the best way I can describe it. If you like something laid back, it's fine. If you like to feel like skating is a lifestyle, that is you. If
Active.
you like the Afro, the Fuji, everything is there. I really loved that album.
Right. You just mentioned one of my favorite tracks, right? Wine and I Swear. Because you look at the first, you can split the album into three ways: the part A, part B, part C. The last part that had Fuji vibe, Wine, I Swear. I Swear is Afro beats Owambe, Afro Wambesque type shit. Wine is the journey to Brazil with Lord Miller. I don't know what they're doing, and which leads me to whatever Shake's team, old and new, were trying to do. But I think he himself has this vision. He left Lagos, and then if Giselba is doing your voiceover and is messing up the Yoruba, he it sounds like he's forcing this international vibe. But I also see the vision of tattoos. Active with Travis Scott is insane. Active is not what we're used to, and that's why I'm really looking forward to what Ashake wants to do next. Military, because it's changing the personas. Now you're military, and you're appearing on Paris walkways, fashion shows, face starts and all that. So I want to know if it's real Lil Wayne coming, if you want to rap some, if whatever you want to do. But I'm just excited to see. But I don't like how he seemed to be disconnected from Lagos over time. Even his family has called him out recently. But I also like that we're seeing this very exploratory, if that's the word, artists from here. You want to truly be global, going to Spain with the song, the baby song. Why am I missing? Why am I forgetting the title? Going to Brazil, going to Jamaica, trying to be global. I think it's only right to be ambitious. Nels, you should lead us into albums that dropped this month, I guess.
Yeah, so far so good. I just wanted to even quickly talk about like I wanted us to just go quickly through like the songs that have dropped so far this year, singles, and then we'll maybe move to because albums this year. I would like for us to skip it because it's not. I don't want to talk about them yet, right? I feel like there's a whole lot to talk about. So just for today, the next episode we'll definitely talk albums. For today, let's just do singles that have come out of 25 so far. So I would skip updates because it's one of the pairs for today that we're going to talk about, which would elongate on whatever it is that's happening in that particular song, and then move on to the next one. I know I already spoke about it when I was talking about what I was listening to lately, but then maybe a quick list rundown before. Let me see what I have here. I have Rema's "Baby Is It a Crime." That's one single, the first major single that came out this year. Then "Why Love" by Asake, as well. "All the Love" by Ira Star. That's a beautiful song. That's a beautiful song. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm saying that, but I just need to like lay that out there. That's a beautiful song.
I don't like the song. I don't know why. Sorry.
It's fine, but it's a beautiful song. Ogechi by Brown Joe, Obimo by Adekunle Gold. Sadly, I have not listened to that. I feel very bad about that, but it is what it is. Pity This Boy by Odumodu Black, featuring Victoni, Hot Boy. Victoni is the hot boy I'm talking about, by the way. She's doing great stuff, great stuff. I had a wonderful album last year. I think his album should be the album of the year in the second hip hop awards. I hope so, but I don't know. I'm not part of the group of Anima Channels group, so I'm just gonna keep quiet and move on. Also, Very Deep by Bella Shmurda. Heard that too. Came into my playlist. Awesome song. I don't know why people are not listening to Bella Shmurda anymore, or I don't know. Maybe I'm the one in the bubble. JJ by Ruga. That's a solid job. And then we have Arike by Kumi. I feel like I came late into this one. And also SMH. I think Louisa has a lot to say about SMH. But then that's my Joe boy. But then guys, from that so far, obviously, like what are your picks out of them all? Goiga, we already know your sentiments about all the love. I have a problem with you because of that, but still, it's all love here. Louisa, let me start with you first and foremost. You heard the list of songs. Those ones are the ones that we have. I know you have SMH. I know you did something on SMH for Instagram. But what do you think about like the single so far this year? Is it because I mean, according to what I've seen so far, and like what everybody knows, Nigeria is a singles market. A lot of people don't listen to albums from start to finish. The only reason why you listen to albums from start to finish is because maybe you're like a music connoisseur or you're a music enthusiast, like Lisa said. A lot of people do not like consume album, and I will talk about that, at stretch later. But Louisa, let me start with you. Single so far, what are you feeling? Like, is it feeling like it's going to be a great year, or it's a slow start for you?
To start off with, my favorite song was not on your list, but it's okay. So the singles this year that at the very top of my list, ask me any day, wake me up from sleep, I will tell you that it's Somebody Like You by Lil J. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but there is something in that song. That's the only way I can describe it. The bass guitar at the beginning, introducing the song, plus the percussion. And I recently learned of the term bossa nova jazz. So I knew it was a form of jazz, but I didn't know how to classify it because it sounded like it was from North America, but at the same time, it had this jazz element to it. So that's basically the bossa nova jazz term. So bass guitar, guitars, and piano, and it's SARS and Loj. I think when they come together, they always have this sort of chemistry. What they did on Mona Lisa, and I think they have a song Billion something, I don't remember the name, and this one as well. I think it just proves to you that when they work together, things just go perfectly. And naturally, SARS is a very good producer. I mean, we've seen his works over the years, and I think it's undeniable that he has range. And Loj is actually dropping an album later this year, which I'm hoping will save the album space because so far I've not really been impressed by albums that have come out. All the Love is a nice song. I haven't really paid attention to it, but when the snippet dropped, I was really hyped about it. It's a nice song. SMH by Jovo, you mentioned it already, but that song is very nostalgic, if I'm to say. It's like an early 2000 vibe, and later on, I think towards the end, I'm not sure if the one in the album has the same type of vibe, but towards the end of the song, it goes back to like the 80s, 90s by adding some certain synth that are particular to that time period. And it's unfortunate that Joe Boy likes to make very short songs, but that is what it is. And there's also another Joe Boy song. He recently dropped his album that I really like, and I don't remember the name, but it's with a woman, and her voice is like butter. It's very smooth and it's angelic. So probably when you hear the song, you will know that this is the song that I'm talking about. So that's just my take so far. Songs are okay, but I feel like they could be better. We need something fresh, and I hope that someone will just wake up and give it to us. But yeah, so far it's okay. That's my opinion.
Right. You didn't mention Nelson. You didn't mention King Madi. She dropped on well, maybe because she said albums would be next episode. But
Yeah. And I know about King Madi, but the reason why I
all
didn't
right,
talk about her is because I was talking about the fact that like I didn't want to get into the album space right
all
now. I
right,
feel like we can
right,
leave that for later. And Louisa,
right.
like your song. I'm sorry, I didn't call that. Loj, forgive me.
So maybe something is wrong with me, right? I don't like, not like I don't like, I didn't enjoy, just like I would other songs, All the Love by Ira Star, Somebody Like You by Loj. Those are beautiful songs, don't get me wrong. I've seen the reactions of people to these two songs. Of course, they're love songs, heartbreak song for Loj, but I just didn't feel it. Maybe it's too slow, maybe I don't like love like that, maybe it's my problem. So yeah, maybe this is my admittance of not liking slow songs. It's the same thing with the song by Ashake. Please give me the title. I keep forgetting. Too. What's the title?
What? Is it the one with
Love
Aprendiz?
Uh,
now.
yeah, My Heart. The song is titled My Heart. So I didn't enjoy it. Worldwide is slow as well. You don't go. It took a while before it picked up, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can vibe a little bit. But if it's too slow, I can't, or it's not banging. It's kind of hard for me to classify. Yeah, that list, Joe Boy, I support your motion that he makes very slow songs. Only TikTok forced me to
Wait,
like
guys,
it.
should we talk about the Joe Boy?
No, I haven't listened enough to know enough. So, but I
Okay,
just know
okay,
that his songs are like
okay.
2 minutes, 12 seconds, very short. Always since the
I
days
have
of
something to say about Joe Boy.
since the
I have
days
something to
of
say.
Baby and Contour, it's always very short, and it's a streaming era culture of short music. I don't know, but if that's his style, I mean, yeah. Do you want to comment on Joe Boy before I go on? But just hold on. I don't have much to say, but Umi was forced on me by TikTok against my will. Um, there's another one, serotonin. Selenity, I am. Selenity. I mean,
Venus, that's Venus. Serotonin
yeah,
and
I think so with
Faceless.
the bass guitar, yeah,
Yeah,
faceless bass guitar.
was it this year though? I don't think it's this year.
Oh, I
Is
don't
it?
know. I was
I
just
don't think it's this
mentioning.
year. I feel like it's last year. I think it's ending of last year, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's just about it. Beyond that, I am more of an albums person. I don't know if that's in balance or that's not balanced with my regular earlier opinions, but I like to listen to a body of work. I've listened to Manifest older album twice in the last 2 days, and that's Nowhere Cool. I like the sequencing of listening to a body of work. So maybe I should go listen to Ruga, but I'm not a fan of Ruga. I'm not a big fan of Joe Boy as well. So what do we do now?
Yeah, I was going to quickly talk about Joe Boy. I like some of his stuff, right? I think he's a great guy. Does great music, and of course, he's some top celebrity right now. Making music and all of that. But for me, though, I'm kind of like caught in the middle, just like exactly Louisa said. First, when I heard the song, that first line, it just took me all the way back to like the early 2000s. It reminded me of there's one Sonny Niji song in particular. I just can't remember the name of the song exactly. There's a Sonny Niji song that came in that same time as Oh Rukati, no one of this. There's a song, I can't remember the song right now, but it took me back to that. And I feel like that's the only bias that I have towards liking the song, right? The fact that it sounds, the production is very edgy and different, right? Not like something you would get every single time. But like I told you, Wega, and I know like I have to say this right now, respect Joe Boy, but I think he's becoming very lazy with the music. Honestly, I feel like he's trying to be like so laid back, and now for people that really want to like consume like music in a certain way, it kind of feels like a drab. Like, bro, you can do more. I'm very sure. I know, right? Like I said, all due respect to him, I'm not coming for him. I'm not saying. I'm sure he has his fans. I'm sure the ladies love it.
How do you know?
This is
How are you sure you can do better?
Of course, of course. I feel like he can do it because I've heard his stuff from the early days, and I feel like there's so much more that could come out from there. And that would also lead me to like another conversation of like I've been one of those guys that is very, very like big on the fact that we need a balance of writers and musicians in Nigeria. I feel like over the years where I've tried to like move away from that, and I like the fact that people like Osags, and then the guys on Loose Talk always talk about it. You see that writers and like musician thing. It's proven over the years. There's a reason why there's a Cedar Garrett. There's a reason why there's a Novamore. There's a reason why there's a Kashif. There's a reason why there's a Kubams. There's a reason why there's. I'm going to call a name right now. There's a reason why there's an Olamide. You understand? They are there for a reason.
Fireboy. A fireboy.
Exactly. There's a reason why there is a Fireboy. Like it's not compulsory for you to like have a beat and you like a vibe, and then there's a reason why there's a Teiwa. There's a reason why there's a Fumbi. There's a reason why there's a Tommy Thomas. We have lots of them, but it feels like, and I think one of the problems that I have is the fact that like the writers are now trying to make music, because the writing is not giving them enough money, it's publishing and all of that. Even though those setups are quite nicer now, it feels like a lot of, and then we now have the Nigerian public or small internet space that things like writing for somebody is the worst thing in the world. I'm like, ooh, you're in for a rude awakening when you realize that most of the songs that you have heard over the years were written by either ghostwriters or somebody else. Even the greats that you people like revere, some of them, they wrote songs for them. Even the Babas, the Ebenezer Obis and the likes, they had some songs that band members. I mean, we had like some issue recently. Go, I don't know whether you can remind me. I think it was on Dele Adeoju's page when they were talking about one of the artists that his band members were writing songs for, and then he didn't give them, a lot of stuff to talk. Wait, please, I see you're raising your hand. You want to talk?
Yeah, that's very official. Raising your hand is very is very startup or class.
Yeah.
Like, but I didn't want to interrupt. So, speaking of songwriting, just a button. I was listening to Sauce Kid's album yesterday. Sauce Kid's only major album, African American. Sauce Kid is one of those OGs from 2007, 8, upwards. And there was 20 tracks, and each track was an average of 344 minutes. And it's usually chorus and 3 verses, right? I was listening to Go Low by Wandeko yesterday as well. I was just going back, and algorithm was bringing Kongwa, so bringing all those songs from 2007, 8, 9 had full verses, 4 minutes verses.
Solid year.
And
07, 08, 09. Solid year.
Maybe this is where I would agree with Nelson that the laziness is, or there's an incentive for short songs and lazy songwriting. Just throw in Lamba and someone in Europe, global, as long as the music is sweet, throw it out there and you will stream it. So I feel like for some reason, that of course 2008 is gone. I just cited that to emphasize the clear difference between songwriting today in Afrobeats and what the guys then did. They wrote a lot. Even the streaming era has now incentivized 30 minutes of an entire album. Albums are now totally 40 minutes when you can have almost an hour, or let's have 4 minutes, 3 minutes, something that's comprehensive. Some artists will do it, but then that will lead to my question back to Nelson. If Teiwa, Fumbi, and the songwriters, first of all, I want to say to you, because you said that we're always going to have Lamba and we're always going to have the full songs and all that. So can't do anything about it. But let's just pretend that more Lamba artists invite songwriters to write for them. Is there an impact that will come from that? Are we going to just enjoy better music? What about sales? What about is there a bigger picture that change would bring?
Yeah, thank you. You know what? It feels like an interview right now, but thank you very much for asking me that question. It just opened up like a can that I've been keeping to myself for a while. I'm going to say something about the fact that we skip a lot of songs listening to them in Nigeria. The reason for an album is for you to have a body of work that is solid, right? A body of work that is solid and has like a theme to it and has some sort of idea to it. If it's going to be a collection of songs, which is acceptable, it has to be well put together. That's where these guys come into play. For example, like you said, I can't stop you from doing your singles. Nigeria is a singles market. So it's fine for you to drop SMAs, to drop all of those stuff, but when I listen to your body of work and I get the same effect of what I've gotten on a single, it kind of makes me feel like I'm like, I mean, I like you as an artist, but what exactly, why are you not giving me the full effect? Right? So as songwriters can always come in to make albums. We don't need song fillers anymore. We don't need song fillers in albums anymore. We still get them to now, and it's quite sad. Of course, we might not be able to get the 3 verses anymore, but there's some solid stuff. And this is what listen to me. I'm gonna say Wizkid's laid back method kind of caught a lot of people off guard, and then they kind of felt like they could do the same. Because Wizkid was doing a lot of laid back music. Songs like Odo, songs like Soko, they were all very laid back. But you see, for every album that you put out from a Wizkid's album, I can tell you for a fact that you can tell the effect of the writers on some songs. I'll do a quick one for you. For example, on the Made in Lagos, whilst everybody are listening to Essence and all those songs, there are songs like Sweet One, True Love, that has One and Project in it. Songs like Blessed. The intro to Made in Lagos is so freaking solid. Restless. That's proper music. Some of the Wizkid fans that are big Wizkid fans, they forget about the songs. But these are songs that make your stuff evergreen. I'll tell you for a fact right now, a lot of people are come for me and say all sort of things. But the reason why Made in Lagos is a classic is because of the songs that were solid, not just Essence. Do you understand? That's why I think it's going to be difficult for a lot of artists right now to make classic albums. It's good. That's why you have marketing team, right? So there are a lot of
That's not a hot
incentives.
take. That Essence is not the reason MIL is the successful. Is not a hot take. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, okay. I thought it might be a hope because a lot of it's like this. You put like a room full of Wizkid FC people there, and you say Essence is not the reason why this album is solid. They would eat you raw. That's what I'm saying. That so there are a lot of songs, and then you move to Money and Love, right? And More Love Less Ego, right? More Love Less Ego has songs like Frames, right? These are beautifully written songs, right? Balance, you know how much I like Balance. Balance is probably like one of those secret songs right there. And then even in his new album, I'm using Wizkid because he's kind of like the example of when you say, oh, people that do very laid back music. For you to understand that this guy is doing laid back music, but he puts in the work when he puts in a body of work as well, right? So he puts in solid work. For example, on Mariah right now, Break You Down, which I sent to you, was a solid stuff. A Million Blessings. These are songs that would not pop, a lot, but you listen to them and you're like, wow, this is what makes this album an album. I feel like a lot of artists are just dropping. And like I said, I'm not their daddy. I'm not their mommy. I'm not the one. I don't have money like more than them. They have money more than me. So they probably would want to put me in a box and say I can't say this kind of stuff to them. But music is way more better than that. And I really think at some point people need to sit down. And this includes even Ira Star, just like the guys on Loose Stock were saying as well. If you are like an A-list artist, B-list, C-list, D-list, you can do whatever you want. If you are for the street, you are for the street. If you are for hop, you are for hop. But if you are going to be an A-list artist, you need to do way more than give us microwave music, with all due respect. You do microwave music. That's why I like Lil J. There's no Lil J song that you would hear. No matter how much you don't like love like Boyega, you can still tell this guy put in work. Right? Whether it is the lamba he's doing or the words he's saying, it's solid stuff. But you know what? This will also lead me to our next topic. So I'm just going to move on quickly because this laziness moves on to even one of the best that is doing the game right now. So the first sample we're going to be talking about. Okay.
Real quick. I think I was actually kind of talking about the same thing. Recently, I posted about storytelling in music. So I've noticed that I enjoy like music that tells stories. Like, I don't know if you've heard Child of the World by Faust. But that song is very, very, very nice. Like right from the start to the end, like it's painting a picture in your head of this girl. She went to law school. She got abused. She started sleeping around. She got HIV. Then she became an advocate for HIV. That is a story. I really like that type of writing. And there are a few artists that do this. It's unfortunate. And it's probably why Fireboy is like my top artist. Although in Playboy, he did admit that he just wanted to see what it's like to not be serious about music. But despite that, he had songs like Adore, which was a very nice song. Compromise, which just by the title, you already know what the song is about. And the lyrics actually stick to the message of the song. Now, as compared to today, the title of the song does not match the content of the song. So it's very misleading, and it's also very disappointing because you see a song with a very nice title, you click on it, you play it, and 3 minutes of your day are wasted. And it's probably why I keep going back to an album like Apollo by Fireboy, which has very nice songs like Remember Me. It has Champion. It has Afar. It has Airplane Mode, which are very nice and relatable songs. The first album as well, which had no features at all, was very good. And it's this songwriting technique, plus also working with the right producers, because obviously you can't do it alone. But it's very nice that he pays attention to his lyrics so that even if the beat fails him, at least you have a reason to listen to the song because he's singing something that makes sense. So I think it's very important that songwriting is taken into consideration when people are making music, because nowadays it feels like we're wasting time listening to music. But that's just all I wanted to say. You can continue.
Right, just a small addition. I like Canada by Rose. I like, IYD. I like Mona Lisa. Those are the type of songs that gets me. Make it ginger. Don't tell me sad story. Now, so let's move to the next one.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So now we're going to move on to the order of the day. We have two samples that we want to talk about. And the first one that we're going to start with is Burna Boy's recent single 2025. We're starting with 2025 because we're in 2025. Even though we have a lot of things we have a lot of backlog. But let's start with 2025. So we kick off from there. And the next one after Burna Boy, which is update sampling Soul to Soul, back to life. Then we will talk quickly, or not maybe at length, as much as Boyega would allow us to talk, for Toliban, which is also a recent jam as well. The name of the song is Ramadan. A remix just came out 3 days ago. Interesting sound, I must say, great stuff from Toliban on the original song. The remix, I do not know why it's done, but I think I understand the marketing strategy behind that. But as a whole, even though I have Bodge and Udumodi Black, two guys that I like, us like a lot, but like I don't think you should have been. But hey, that's a talk for another day. We're going to talk about the songs, and there are quite a lot of stories for us to like tap on. But then we'll quickly start up with Burna Boy's updates. The reason why I spoke about it before was because I said I was going to lead into this part of the show with Burna Boy's updates, because Burna Boy, I love Burna Boy so much. I'm a big fan of Burna Boy, big fan of all the top guys in Nigeria. I love their sounds and everything. And Burna Boy has shown, over the years that he's really good with his lyrics. He's a kind of guy that would sit down and write his stuff properly. But then Updates is a very unique sound. Unique sound because it has an amazing production, has an amazing idea behind it. But then it's like in terms of worthiness, in terms of content and lyrics, it's quite questionable. Especially like putting together the fact that the song itself is sampling a song that came from a story that is very deep. So basically, like I usually talk about stuff the way we always talk about it right here on Sample Access. We're just gonna go through a couple of things, just to get you registered. Update was released in 2025. Obviously, one of the singles after Bundle by Bundle by Burna Boy. Burna Boy, one of the biggest, I think, might be the biggest African artist at the moment. At least he has been that for at least 2 years. He has been solid, touring all over the world, doing great stuff. And all of this started, even though he had been making music for about almost since 2011, if I'm not mistaken. His first major hit was Like to Party. A lot of people would argue that there was something else before that, but I think Like to Party was the hit for me. And then he did a lot of stuff over the years. But in 2018, from the Outside album, a song called Ye was released, and that, started a domino effect that has lasted till now. And I think Burna Boy is the perfect example for preparation meets opportunity, because that man has been grinding hard for so many years, doing great stuff, great music. He had never let it down. He had always been the guy that Burna Boy is the guy that gives you a perfect album. I'll tell you why it's a perfect album. You want Lamba, he's going to give you a section in the album where everything is there is Lamba. It's going to give you a section on the album that is solid storytelling, and then it's going to give you songs on the album that are like proper music that you can dance to and can still learn something off. So I think he's a full blown proper artist. But then he always does this thing where, I mean, of late actually, since after Twice as Tall, which was the album that earned him like his first Grammy, but it was his second nomination after African Giant. I still solidly think African Giant should have been the one that should have won the Grammy, but Angelique Kidjo got that one that year. But it's all good. He still has a Grammy now. He has been nominated twice afterwards for 2 albums, Love Damini, and the recent one. What's the name of this recent one? Why am I forgetting the recent one? Boyga, can you please help me with the last album? After Love Damini.
Oh, I wanted to say Love Damini.
I can't remember.
There's another one. There's been another one.
Yeah. I don't know why I don't remember Burna Boy. Burna Boy, please don't be annoyed with me.
Wait, what songs are on there? City Boy.
On Form, City Boy, yeah.
Hey, well, this is
funny.
Like,
it was also nominated for the Grammy.
I told them.
Yes.
I told them.
Hold on. Wait, this is crazy because what? He has that many albums that one can just go missing like that. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
So
from 2018, he released Outside. 2019, he released African Giant. 2020, he released Twice as Tall. 2021, I think he took a skip, right? I think 2022,
Love Damini.
It was Love Damini. Then he took another skip, and then he came back with 2024. That's 6 albums in 7 years.
I told them, and then no signs of weakness. Can you imagine the guts?
Which is coming through very soon.
Hold on. After that much work and all that touring, he's saying like, yo, no sign of weakness. Yesterday he dropped remix with a Haitian guy, and that is also going berserk.
Oh yeah, it's going berserk. I heard that too.
The very idea that, look, I'm not stopping. I think he mentioned once that he simply wants to keep touring with his band until death does them part, until he's no longer making music. It's just showing a different kind of obsession and a different kind of success with his music, right? Because just imagine, I mean, it's easy for us to overlook it. 6 albums, no signs of weakness. I'm still coming back with another. That's crazy to me. Shout out to him.
Yeah, big shout out to Burna Boy in that one. I love the fact that he's coming on all the way, like doing his stuff as much as possible, and that's what we want basically. But then also, even though I'm a big fan, as you can see, I've read him already so much. Now I can say some things that I do not like. I feel like Burna Boy always gives us, like, I mean, lately he didn't do that before, but I think since after Twice as Tall, he always gives us these songs that are just there to just be there for a while and go, and they might not even be a part of an album, but it's just like a single to just feel like it's a single to just tease people and just keep them, on check that I'm still here. For example, remember Questions featuring Don Jazzy? That could have been a whole lot different, right? That could have been quite a hit, or like they could have done something solid, right? But they just, they just played around, did their stuff, enjoyed themselves. I'm sure they had great time making the music, and they just put it out there. And after a while, a lot of people will not even remember the song. Maybe you play it in a club though, and then music questions, and they get the answer and stuff like that. And now did bundle by bundle. But the last album, I told them, City Boys and Big Seven were awesome stuff. But now it's coming up with 2 songs that I feel like for his level, if this was like a normal like artist, maybe it could be good enough. But for Burna Boy's level, it's not up there. Bundle by Bundle did his stuff, because of the vibe. And this thing about Burna Boy having like something to keep the song in rotation, right? There's always something about the song that keeps it in rotation, right? Like Bundle by Bundle, everybody just wanted to. So they started doing videos on Instagram and TikTok with Bundle by Bundle, right? Which is not even probably like his best single in a while. And then he dropped Update. Now, you know, what, just before I quickly go on and like talk about like the song that was sampled from, quickly, let me start from you, Louisa. When you heard Update for the first time, what did you feel like? Or how did you feel like? What was your first reaction? The first listen?
My first reaction was, I know that song, obviously. um,
Yeah, yeah,
but apart from that, the one thing I can commend is that he maintained the theme of the retro style in the video. I don't know if you've watched the video, but there's a part where it's like afros, disco, they're dancing on a stage and all that. So it's
yeah.
like
I saw that.
relating to the time period of the time the song came out. It's a vibe. That's one thing I can say. I think the way he flipped the beat, I really love beats. So the way the beat went was something that really stuck with me. Lyrically, I'm not really sure because I don't pay attention to lyrics, unfortunately, in some songs, but I think it's something that I need to look into. But then from what I noticed, it would have stuck with me if maybe there was like a serious message behind it. But I'm guessing there wasn't. But it's probably something that I need to revisit. I mean, one thing about music is that if you hear it at the right time, sometimes it sticks and then sometimes it doesn't. But
Yeah,
yeah, it just have
being
to
being in the club, and listening to Update would be solid.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
And
nowhere else. I
look,
think maybe that. Wait, yeah, go on,
sometimes,
please.
sometimes, um, how do I say it? I want to be proverbial. Some things are just in passing, like questions, like you mentioned. Good song, but it was only there for a while and then it moved. Sometime in the future, maybe in 10 years, there might be a movie that needs it. They pick it up and it starts to live the life again of that time. What am I trying to say? And I wanted to ask Nelson this. What we're seeing now is that content is what is selling. Burna Boy already has an audience. Whatever he does, whatever he puts out, there is a ready audience that will play at least for the first time. And some of these things count in streaming mathematics and all that. So, and apart from that, just in life, we live every day. Some of us, 100 years by 365 days is a lot of days. Some days will just come and pass by. And look at use that to look at an artist who has 5,000 songs. All he needs is 25 hit songs over his entire
Yeah,
rainy season. You probably needs 100 hit songs. Some of them may not be major hits, but it has to be part of the mix to rack up streaming numbers and to stay in people's consciousness. So updates, bundle by bundle, but it has to be, like you said, it has to be talked about that the drop or the casual way it just come. See that bundle by bundle, heard it the first time and I just went away. So I think that it was too the drop in music quality was pretty obvious, and so
yeah. That
that's
was my
what I
problem too.
changed. But ultimately, this sample on updates is not that bad,
No,
right?
it's not. It's not. It's not. That was what I was gonna
Right.
say.
So
It's not. It's not.
I
It's
just
not.
wanted to point that out, and content is king now.
Yeah, yeah. Content is king, and honestly, if I'm being completely honest, when an artist like Burna Boy does stuff like this, I'm not mad at all because I can tell you for a fact that when the album comes out, I'm gonna get a song like Real Life in it. So if I'm really heck bent on listening to quality music, I just wait. I mean, till today, I still listen to the song with Blast and Kelani. Solid. You know what I really vibe it. Solid song, right? I still listen to it like see, people don't like they don't like Cloak and Dagger after a while, but me, Maloro said, oh my god. So I'm still like gonna, go back and listen. So I'm not mad. But I'm just the only reason why I'm mad is because like the only reason why I might be mad is because these guys are like the shining light for the other artists. Some other artists feel like they can do this, right? They can do what Burna Boy is doing. And then they end up like hurting themselves. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you can't do what the
That's their
Burna Boy, what the
problem.
Weez. Yeah, it is. But I feel like they're like they're not placeholders, but like they're leaders, right? They hold on to a flag, so there's some sort of responsibility, right, for them. But then I think the thing is that like people. Somebody said something somewhere. I can't remember exactly who, but it's like we have a lot of musicians, or we have few people that are students of music, and I don't mean people that went to school for music. I mean like students of music that you can. How many artists do we know? Like a lot of artists don't. They don't even know like they don't know how much or the effect that an influencer has on them. Like you cannot see some people that will tell you right now. For example, somebody like Faust can say, "Oh, Fela inspired me this exact way." Some people they all say, "Ah, I like his music, so it's an inspiration." They wouldn't be able to tell you exactly how the inspiration is getting to you. What exactly is it? His sound? Is it his rhythm? Is this what you picked off from him? But like you said, great stuff done in terms of sampling. For sampling, it gets an A plus because what the heck? I've heard Caramella's voice several times. When I heard that beginning part, and that's what the dog go, what the dog go, what the go. I'm like, okay, brother boy, I see you. I see what you're about to do, and that's what I have to give to brother boy. I don't know what you can tell that brother boy is a student of music. He knows the songs and he knows them in and out. I still can't believe that he did sitting on top of the world. I don't know how he did it. I've heard that song like 50 times. I'm not sure I would have come up with something from that. But I guess that's why he's the musician and he's the creative, right? And like I said, the song is quite interesting. If you have heard it before, Back to Life, an amazing song led by Carol Wheeler. The song was produced by Jazzy Beats. This one by update by Burna Boy was produced by P2J. So a quick brief on Carol Wheeler. Carol Wheeler is an amazing artist. She has been around since 1976. She was born in 63. She started making music at the age of 13. So she's an OG. The first time I heard about her was actually Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I was watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and then Back to Life played. But before that, I heard Keep On Keeping On, Keep On Moving. That's a beautiful song that was done also by Soul to Soul. They were so cool. They named their album Club Classics in 1989. That's how, I wouldn't say cocky, but like that's how sure and confident they were of their songs. And the reason why is because I think they're one of the few groups that if you go online, you would literally see there. Soul to Soul is not referred to as a music group. They are referred to as a music collective. And that's the best way to put it. These guys are phenomenal people. People like Steve Law, Jazzy B, Karen Wheeler. These guys are set apart. Now, just so you know, also a lot of people do not know, but they are from the UK. So it's kind of like, but they were so big in the US. I think there was a point where their songs didn't even chart in the UK anymore, and they were charting on the US Billboard. For you to know how good they were in terms of like transcending borders, right? They used to DJ before, and they're like, I'm talking about Soul to Soul right now. They used to do like DJ stuff, put music together. They were like party organizers, more like the main block party of the late 80s, right? And they used to talk about them about putting stuff together. And at the time, because of how good they were in terms of putting music together, they got a record label to sign them to put in music. And then Karen Wheeler had been making music prior to the time 13 years already, so she was already a pro. But then she had done backup for a lot of people. One notable person is Maxi Priest. Boyga, Maxi Priest, close to you. Big solid guy too in the UK. She had done a lot of stuff for like other people, a lot of white artists. I can't remember all their names right now, but they were up there, top guys there. She was, of course, which is like I feel like is a thing for the 90s. Before you become a top artist, you need to have done background, for somebody. Just like, this man, what's his name? Luther Vandross did for David Bowie, So you must have gone through, there's a process. That's also something we probably will talk about in the future, but like that process of learning in the mix, even in Nigeria, we have it too. This person is a band member of that person, like King Sunny Ade was a drummer for Obe at some point, right? So like, or it was a part of the band, everybody, or like Ekemode too. Ekemode too
Sorry,
was also what was
sorry,
who
not for
was
Obey. It
Ekemode
was
under?
for Orlando.
Sorry. Thank you very
Sonade
much,
for
Orlando.
Orlando. Yeah.
What about you? Ekemode was for who exactly? I can't remember
This
right
man,
now. Is it Ambrose? Is it Ambrose?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I
Ah, I can't remember
remember.
right now.
It's a common thing to have worked and
Yeah,
served
but it's a key point.
under some.
Yeah, serve the son of somebody. But that doesn't happen anymore in music. But it is what it is. They call that artist development, I think. So, but it is what it is. I hope it comes back though. I feel like Maven is probably of the few guys that do it. But let me drop that. Karen Wheeler, making music for 13 years. She was part of a group before. She started with her friend. They used to go to shows. And she had a very unique childhood because she was raised by two different families, a white family and a black family. So yeah, amazing life in it. She had a lot of struggles because she she loved both of her families, but like because our family that were black were not so well put together in terms of funds, and the white ones were quite middle class. So she had to shuffle between the both houses, and it wasn't the greatest of you know shuffling for her. She had maybe a little bit of a difficult childhood, but still came out to do pretty good music. And she did a lot of great stuff for herself, all the way to like 2004. She was still making proper music. But now back to the story of this song. A lot of people do not know, but I think now is on Wikipedia. If you would like to read, is that Back to Life came from a traumatic event. She actually died for a few seconds. Because that's what she says. She's like, she literally died for a few seconds. According to her, she said she felt like she had died because she had already seen heaven in her mind. She said she was somewhere. She can't say exactly what it was, but she said she was loving it. And then she woke up and she's like, what the heck? Why am I here again? Right? So that's where the back to life came out from.
Yeah.
That
Hold on.
exact term.
Does the song reflect the story?
Oh, it does. Listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez,
I listen, but I wouldn't
however
listen
do
with
you
this in
want it?
mind.
Exactly. However do you want it? Like, why exactly am I still here? She was asking her creator. The whole song is her having a conversation with God. She's like, back to life, back to reality. Like, why am I here? Like, okay, tell me now. How do you want me to behave moving forward? Like, what exactly am I supposed to do now moving forward? Like, you need to tell me what to do. So it was her asking her creator a question. But because Soul to Soul had been DJs, they're like, yeah, this is slow, but we're gonna put a little bit of jive in it. And then she says sometimes when she sees people like dancing to it, she's like, these people are dancing at my pain. But you know what? I like it. As far as they can they love the
I
song,
don't mind.
I don't mind. And they want to Grammy off that album. And also, she also said another story, which is she's like a very unique being. Apparently, the plane that she took to receive the award almost crashed. Right? She had like the plane was plunging down. The stories on YouTube. She's a unique baby. Your YouTube was plunging down and almost basically like caused a lot of issues for her, and she was still like able to power through. And she did the music, and the music is beautiful, and she talks about it all the time. That whenever she's talking about music, she always like to talk about things that have happened to her, right? Like a personal life story. So she called herself a particular name. I just can't remember what it is right now, but she does great stuff for herself. And still, the music itself was, like I said, quite big in the US, quite big in the US. Wasn't as big in the UK, which is quite strange. But I guess at the time, music consumers were different. And in the UK, she did an album called UK Black because she felt like, as a black person in the UK, she had a lot of troubles for herself. But the song was big and, it did what it did. They didn't get a bigger song after that one. I guess they had a couple of songs that were micro hits, but nothing as big as Back to Life. And the good thing about Back to Life is a time-stamped song. Whenever you hear Back to Life, it takes you all the way back to 1989. And she also said something too that caught my attention. If you remember, I like to talk about New Jackson a lot. She's like, New Jackson was the main genre of that time. So how Back to Life went on to be a popular song is a mystery to date because it makes no sense. That was the same year that had Kid Sweat going crazy. Same year that had Bobby Brown in my Prerogative. That was when people were doing that. The same year that Just Got Paid by Johnny Kemp. And like it was a solid year for fast beats, and then she did keep on, keep on, and then also back to life. And how many years now would you say? What? How many years now? 36 years, if I'm not mistaken. Am I doing the math correctly? Yes, it is. 36 years afterwards, Burna Boy decides to play with the tune. This is one of the reasons why I say real music never dies. Yeah, and that's why we have people like Karen Wheeler to drop one music or two songs that will just last a lifetime. And like Boyega said, I think I'm going to stick with what Boyega said right now and say you don't need to drop a hit every single time. You just need to drop one song, just one song that would resonate, be a timestamp, and be timeless at the same time. But yeah, good job from both the artists. The genre that I moved from, I would like to call back to life funk and soul pop at the time. Pop only because it was a popular sound at the time, but it was more soul, more funk, and a little bit of jivey because it's a party song, right? And you need to. I think, Louise, have you seen Back to Life's video?
Yes, I have. I have. I
Okay,
listened
so
to a lot of
like,
music, so yes, I have.
yeah. So basically, like Burna Boy's video is kind of like a mirror of that video, like a
Yeah,
modern reshoot of the video.
Yeah.
yeah, I actually
I
mentioned
mean,
his.
what he even had on, is reminiscent of what she had on as well, except from I don't know why he didn't tie his hair because he has the same hair as she did. That would have been perfect, but it is what it is, though. But yeah, great stuff from Burna Boy. Full on respect for him.
All right.
So, back to life, two updates.
So thanks man for that's a lecture, man. That's a lecture. So the only thing that's on my mind is I like the way Bernard samples. It looks like it's very strategic. Last. Is that Tony Braxton? Yes. And then after Tony Braxton, then he had another one. And then we can go all the way back to Wonderful. It is sample on Wonderful. So Burna Boy seems to be very strategic with samples. I want to know if this is just a geek asking, right? A geek asking a question. Is it? Are we? What takes prominence? Is it the money being shared? Is it the fact that we're bringing back old vibes? Is there cultural exchange in any way? Or is this exploiting old hits too? Or is this creativity? I'm saying a lot of things. I don't know if anyone can help me. But I'm more
Yeah,
interested in
yeah.
cultural exchange, right? If you cannot speak
I
to it.
want to quickly ask though, can you guys still hear me clearly?
Yes, can
Yes.
you hear me?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to confirm because my microphone went off now. But yeah, um, I think this is creativity at its peak, and the reason why is because one might say because I'm like a samples guy. Like I said, I feel like proper samples are difficult to make, right? And I wouldn't say this is a big hit for Burna Boy because he has done way better with Last, for example. I'm just realizing that Last might be a bigger song than Ye.
City Boy is crazy, no. A bigger song, but yeah, is ultimate. But
Yeah,
City
yeah,
Boy
he is
sample is
ultimate.
also so good. Like
Which one?
Jeremiah, City Boy. Da-na-na,
Oh
da-na-na.
boy.
It's your
Yeah,
birthday
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
really want.
True, 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 true. But then, like, I think it's creativity at its peak. I mean, from my point of view, because, like I said, it's one thing to be able to mix two sounds together. It's another thing to be able to get quality sound out of it. I still feel like the only thing that was probably lacking was the depth of the lyrics because we knew that Karina had proper depth in her sound, but Burna Boy doesn't. But apart from that, anything else you want to say? Solid stuff, right? Great stuff he has done with the way he played around with the sound, and he has done it over and over again. So it's like that for Burna Boy, this is serious business, right? I think another artist that we should probably give props to for doing stuff like this is Olamide. Olamide knows how to play around with sample. Olamide will mess up a sample so much you probably will not even know that he sampled song from somewhere, right? That's like serious creativity. But I also think that like for people that are very serious about preserving like music, like preserving sounds in a certain way, they might have a problem with the sample because I think he was quite I don't know the word to use right now to not sound like I'm trying to in any way reduce the quality of what he has done, but people would say that like there are a lot of like it was I don't want to use the word lazy, but
I know
the
what you're
sample
getting
itself,
at.
but you know what I'm getting at, right?
So
It's
what you're
like the
saying
sample
is,
itself was not really a sample. It was more like a cut
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
to
feel
like
you.
to
So,
like
so
elevate its sound.
you're coming from the hip hop background. Hip hop,
Exactly.
where sampling originally is, from,
Yeah.
does a lot of technical cuts and flip and join and bend. Hip hop
Exactly.
producers do a lot of that at scratch before they
Hmm.
then lay it over a beat. This was pretty obvious. It was okay, maybe it's not okay, still a sample, but there's something they call almost like you're covering some parts of it. It's not even cover anymore because you have already cut. I really want it. I really need it. You've already cut
Hmm.
that part, but then you lay it too obviously over a bit. It's still sampling, but it's just not as technical as hip hop guys would do. The technical sampling is City Boy. That
Yeah.
where the beat is totally lost because it's been paced up, it's been cut, it's
Yeah.
been diced. So all those
Tududu,
technical.
tududu, tududu. Yeah,
So
yeah. That's serious
sometimes
stuff.
you get the technical sampling, you get the extra work in other productions, and in others you just have to take it as simple as it comes. So yeah, all still a good attempt, good
And
effort.
just to add on to your
Go on.
question, I think samples are done to, well, that this is what I think, just to play with the effect of nostalgia, and in return that makes you like the song. So basically I think it's using nostalgia to your advantage, because if maybe the song was somehow different or he didn't add that particular aspect, maybe people wouldn't have really enjoyed the song like that. And maybe there's some people that don't even know that it was a sample, but then they just know that it feels familiar and they keep listening to it over and over and over again because it just feels familiar, and they are enjoying that familiarity that comes with the song. And I also feel like it's his way of trying to mix cultures, like you said, because he's been excuse me, he's been sampling from America, and Americans are now jumping on, the music, and also people from
Yeah.
other. So I think it's also making it international, because these songs that he's sampling, they were not only popular in America, they were popular in other countries as well. And I also posted like about this sample on my YouTube, and some Americans were not happy about it and they are tired of him sampling. But on the other hand, there are also people that are pleased with what he's doing and that really like the way he samples. And props to the producers, because I can only imagine how they feel anytime Burna Boy says, "How far? I want to sample this song. What can we do?" It's just like anytime Burna Boy says,
Yeah.
another sample. So I just want to give props to the producers, because for them to actually flip it in a way that maybe satisfies him and satisfies the audience, or maybe it's a joint work between him and the producer. He knows what he wants and he tells the
Yeah.
producer what he wants. But at the end of the day, it works for him and it comes out, and people enjoy it. So yeah, I think it's cultural integration and also playing with nostalgia to your advantage.
Yeah,
Fair
just to
enough.
wrap up though, before we get straight up into the Toliban sample, I think like just to continue quickly on what you said about like producers, big props to them. But one thing I've also noticed is that because I have a couple of producer friends and I've seen that like a lot of producers that have been talking about their work, for example, like Ninth Wonder, is quite active on Twitter when people say rubbish and he wants to put them to order. Ninth Wonder, by the way, is like one of the big heads of American producers in the US. He's known for doing a lot of work with Drake and Kendrick, although more Kendrick because the songs he did for Kendrick were big, 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 but the songs he did for Drake were probably like, songs that were out there for a while are not too out there. But the classics he made with Kendrick are more important and more big out there. But then he also said something about the fact that these guys, they actually enjoy messing with sounds if they know it. You know, it's like Kanye West. I mean, have you ever seen a video of Kanye West chopping up a sample before? Is absolutely nuts. That man, it might be it might be different on different days, but when he's in front of a sample, he would do and undo. Till today, Otis, which is the sample that he did from Otis Redding's Try a Little Tenderness. I'm sure you know the song, right? Do you know the song, Louisa? Kanye West and Jay-Z, Otis. You make it easier. Oh,
Just send it to
you're
us.
you're in for an experience. You know what? I want you to listen to this. Is what I'm going to do. Wait, guys, please. You can send a link on the WhatsApp page right now. Send a link of the original song and then a link of the song that when it was sampled. I want to. You can do a small video reaction. I want you to see the change and the craziness that Kanye West did on that, right? Because that's the kind of sample that you just look at and you say people have done a great job. And like somebody like Kanye would tell you, he enjoyed making that sample all the way, right? Even in his documentary, you can see him wanting to like chop up, and put sounds together. But big shout out to them. And for me too, in terms of the sampling, like I said, even though you might feel a little bit just laid back there, Burna Boy did what he had to do. So I'm going to give it like a solid 7 over 10. Content, I wouldn't score it anything because I'm trying to avoid problems. But still, in terms of work being put for the song, I give it a solid 7 over 10. But yeah, I think it's about time for you to take us into the sphere of Ramadan.
Right, right. Thank you very much. I didn't need to say thank you very much because this is not a webinar. um, Tolibian, Yinka Yefele, Rosaline Ogunro, and J.O. Oyeshiku and his Rainbow Quintet. Let me just quickly send this before I come back. Right. So Tolibian is apparently he's a comedian too, but he's a very, Leo Dicky. Who knows Leo Dicky? Yeah, makes this fun music. I woke up
Yeah, I watch his
in
show, Dave. I
brown
watch
bag.
it.
Oh, yeah. So he's a comedian, TV star, and then he went into music. Tony Bian is like that because he's like a creator that does comedy. And if you look at the promotions of the song, in fact, I'm sure each of us here has seen it somewhere. It's all over Instagram, all over TikTok. So he is really a content guy, makes fun content, and that gets into music. He did this song Abaya two years ago, 3 years ago, or even more. Abaya is this dress that Muslim women wear, women in general, but Muslim women they wear it, speed. It's like Google but more religious, right? And so she made that song and it was a fun song. It was also about uh, Muslim ladies wearing a abaya while doing this. So it's like fun, really. So he's a comic musician, if that's a thing. And then Ramadan comes, and I think he did something like a freestyle on one of his contents, and somebody said you should turn this into a song, and then it took a year later he then does the song. The song is short, it's just pretty simple. And this is what I was referring to when I said content is king. That came from making jokes. And then you see the way a snippet from Burna turns into what producers are playing with on the ground. This funny snippet, now by Lambo, you literally don't need to go to the studio anymore now. Just say ABCD and somebody somewhere will help you add some melody, and it becomes a movement on TikTok. And then later, after a year, you can go and add. That's why songwriting is no longer an effort. You just go and add something to the body, verse one, verse two. But because it's already a sensation, it picks up from this. But I think the best thing about this song titled Ramadan by Tolibian is that he promoted the hell out of it. I think he must have been doing 4 videos a day. Pick any video, put your song, post. So of course, when you feed the algorithm helps you, multiply views, and then it spreads it everywhere. So TikTok, Instagram, everywhere you start seeing this video, and then it becomes, and it's jivey too. The song was produced by a guy called Rima, and it's a very, very fast-paced, danceable, ginger, let's dance type of song. And this is where the sample thing comes in, because there's a music OG called Jide Taiwo who made a post and talk about, the layering in his assessment. And I would like to say he was the one that really pointed this out the most. Tolibian, the song mirrors or samples a section of um, Yinka Ayefele's Change. Only at Lugidi. That's the title. Only at Lugidi. And now let's take a pause, or just before we take a pause, Only at Lugidi by Yinka Ayefele was done in the year 2000, and that also picks from Rosaline Ogunwo's Orore from 1989. That then is in fact a cover of J.O. Oyeshiku from 1960. Now I'm confused as to where should I pick it from. Let's pick it from the first layer. First layer is in Ayefele in 2000. Ayefele is a Nigerian broadcast professional, broadcaster, media guru, but at the time was a broadcaster, produces jingles for radio stations, makes music, and then he had this very terrible accident. The story is everywhere. He then goes into music and makes this album called Peter Express. In that Peter Express, so I think part of the plan for him to get out of the situation, the accident put him in, was to make music, sell music, and that was a way that he was supported by friends and people in general. So this song was in that album. Now, typical of many juju artists today, many Afro artists in recent times, not Afro, sorry, people who sing on stage, so to speak, juju, Fuji, they pick a lot from others. In fact, what you do on your 2 hour set is a lot of songs from throwback, songs from the Bible. You then, have a band do a set, and then you sing over those different type of songs. So I think, and also coupled with the fact that Ayefele does radio jingles. Radio jingles are mostly covers of other songs. But this song, Orore, gets Orore by Rosaline Oguru, gets remade into Ayefele's version. On that Ayefele song as well, another thing I noticed was that the song called Awade by K1 The Ultimate. I'm sorry that I may sound like I'm in the 80s. I'm not that I'm not that big of
I think I'm sorry, Greg. I'm so sorry that I'm butting in.
Yeah.
But I think the first on the original post when GD Taiwo posted it, as soon as he posted it, I said, I know this song from a K1 song. And he liked the post. He didn't reply to me on what the song was, but I'm sure he could. But I'm glad that he figured it out. But I also have another song that has the same tempo. Oyindamola Adejumo. Mo gbàgbé o, Olúwa má ṣe o, everybody say, I mean, do you remember the song?
Where I know where, but I don't know this song.
It's from Ọlọ́run tó mọ ohun tó ṣe, the album.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I
Luisa.
know
I'm sure you're looking so. You're looking so like what's going on here? It's from
I know the
Ọlọ́run tó mọ
song.
ohun tó ṣe. That's stuff. But I think it's Mugbope or something.
Yeah.
It's the same vibe, the same
You are
vibe.
correct.
It just as I said it now, it just clicked in my head right
Mukoko is
now.
correct.
That
I think the
yes,
bottom line is just
Mugbope,
that.
abi?
Yeah, look, a lot of our artists in the band, when I say band, it's called Juju here, Juju band. If you have a Juju band, you are picking from Orlando, you are picking from K1 The Ultimate, you are picking from Ebenezer Obey. The OG set is the standard. So just to close that out, the Ayefele song has this piano chord from K1's Awadi, and it's really easy to, if you listen to those type of songs, you easily hear it. Let's take it now back to done with Ayefele. Take it backwards, 1989. That was 21 years before the year 2000. Is it 21 years? Yeah, thereabouts. 1990. No, that's 11 years. Sorry, that's 11 years. Go ahead, Nelson.
I just wanted to make sure that you said you give us a full lowdown on the fact that Rosalind as well is a famous broadcaster too.
Yes, yes. I don't know enough about that, but I'm just going to mention that she's a famous broadcaster. I have some of her songs here. She really has come a long way. If you go to her profile, she's based in the UK now. She, in fact, does some work for the London Symphony Orchestra. So she's still keeping music, even though she may not be in active music production, but she works in with the London Symphony Orchestra. Broadcasters Guild of Nigeria, she's a member. And like you said, she was a broadcaster for many years in Lagos, I believe. Uh, and then she made this song. Also reminds me of another sister, I think Bukola, and I can't remember her name, but she made songs as well. So I think it was common for broadcasters to some, not all of them, to go into music a little bit. A lot of them went to movie making. It's all part of the media environment, right? So yeah, Lade, no, sorry, Rosalind, not Lade, Rosalind Oguro covers, in fact, covers J.O. Yeshiku and his Rainbow Pointers, who I think is the star of this whole thing, right? J.O. Yeshiku is in the same caucus as J.O. Araba, OGs from 1960, and Orlando Julius. Orlando Julius is, I think, more famous because he went abroad, he had albums, collaborated a lot. And I just remember Summer to Soweto, and that's an amazing jam. So J.O. Yeshiku, I don't know much from him, but I know he had a band, and the song was part of this compilation of catchy rhythms from Nigeria, which was compiled at some point and put out there. Yeah, this particular song is titled Real Repete, and it's slow. You can hear some high life from it because, of course, 1960. That's pretty much the sound that was there. And when we were talking about Lamba, and yeah, this is not a badly written song, but it was. It's not too serious. It's not something that you are trying to be deep or anything. Or Repete, very, very. If you pay attention to the songwriting, I can't pick out the words now, but it's a pretty simple song. And to see that, so this is where some controversy, not really controversy, is. It's the way Ramadan by Tolibian picked from Ayefele. It's hard to make that distinction because Ayefele is mellow, is song. The song is slow, but the producer that worked on Tolibian's bits had it really, really, really fast, and so it's hard to pick the maybe 4 notes or 5 notes or just the layer, the part where it mirrors Ayefele. It might be hard if you're trying to pick it up, but it's there, and that speaks to samples. Samples are just picking a part and then playing with it in whatever ways you can. So, but the fact that we can have memories of these old songs from Tolibian is just amazing stuff. It means that anything from the past can still be used and applied in the future. Speaking of the remix, I don't want to like go too much. It's probably just under 10 minutes. I'll have Nelson speak on it, and of course, Louisa. The remix are not. I think it was unnecessary, but like Nelson said, sometimes artists want to make the best of the moment they have. So that's about it from me. I can come back to part of it, but Nelson, if you would like to speak on that as well.
Yeah, I would like to, but there's not so much time. I don't know how much you have recorded right now. Greg, how many minutes can you say we recorded so far? Just to like be
It must
sure.
be a lot. Okay, so it's like
Uh,
1 hour 30, 1 hour 30 now. So we can take the
okay.
next 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to
All right.
close.
Okay, because I need to run away. Now I pack. Uh, all right. So like for the remix, like I already said, I'm not a big fan, honestly. Even though I like all the guys, I'm a big fan of Bodge. I really love his music. I know Louisa is not a big fan of Bodge. Letting the public know your reasoning of Bodge, but then, but then I also I like Bodge. I like Udimo the Black, but I just feel like. Uh, There are some remixes that is just not, it's not necessary. See, there are some remixes that are done that you would forget all the main song. For example, I also big shout out. I have to say something. Big shout out to the guys on Loose Talk podcast. Big shout out to you guys. You guys are very great for the music. AOT2, Steve Dede, and Osags, man. You guys are big for the culture. They were playing, I can't remember the episode, whether it is new or recent, or whether it is new or old. Mr. Endowed, Mr. Endowed original song, great. Remix with Snoop Dogg was just there. Okay, but not amazing. But Tony Montana, Neto C featuring the batch. Or Neto C alone on Tony Montana, good. Neto C featuring the batch. That took it to 10 miles ahead of what it was before. I feel like this Ramadan song is one of those few songs that are just perfect. Like it's just perfect. Like you don't understand why it is perfect. It's like imagine Michael Jackson having a remix to Thriller or Liberian Girl. It's just leave it alone. Or let me annoy the music gods. Imagine Michael Jackson having a remix to Speechless. Why?
What do
Why?
you want to speak again?
Why? It's like I'm gonna throw a jab. I'm gonna throw a jab quickly at something I saw online. So there's like a talk. I'm sorry, this is pop culture, but then I just feel like it makes sense to what I'm talking about now. There's a new stuff out there that there's gonna be Passion of Christ Part 2. And Jim Carville is coming again as Jesus. And I saw somebody retweet that. It's like, well, there's more to the story. Because as far as we are concerned, the man has died. He has risen up again. Wait, yeah.
Maybe
But then
God
like
Anyone,
this, like,
find him again.
what are we going to watch? Is this going to be like a before Jesus was born? Because they do stuff like that where they make like prequels, sequels. But then like that's what I feel for this song. But I understand though. I 100% do understand. I feel like as somebody like Tolibian, he has seen the opportunity to get into the groove, and these Odumodu at least is probably, according to reports and stats, the biggest rap artist that has ever been in maybe the past 7 years or 8 years in terms of numbers and stats. So who else to bring into the fray? You understand? He can't get the Olamides now or the Badus or Wizkid. So I mean, he has to get the guys that are hot, hot, hot that people want to listen to. And Odumodu is like perfect for that. Bodge also to give it some. I think Bodge was putting it to give it like no matter how crazy Odumodu goes, Bodge is going to help us to reduce the madness and say, okay, well, jam Odumodu now. Let's chill again, which I think they did on the song, but I still don't feel like it is necessary. But like I said, I don't have money more than these people, so so they will do whatever is in their minds. But like big ups to them. Though I really wish the song stayed alone, but it is what it is. You have to go with the flow. But yeah, that's about it for me. Great stuff done. I think this is probably. I really wish we had more time because I like the fact that we had to go 3 generations, and now we just realized that it's not even more than 3 generations because it's from let's say 2019 or 2020. That was when the song was released first to 2004 from Oyinda Mola Adejumo, which we didn't talk a lot about, to 2000. Bitter Experience. I think Bitter Experience is 1999, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, around the same time,
But then,
99 2000.
yeah, 1999. But like whatever it is fine. And then we go all the way to 1989, which was the Oguro amazing album picture, by the way. It's as cool as you can get, right? And then you go all the way to 1960s with Jo as well. So yeah, love it,
Yeah.
love it, love it.
Louisa, I wanted to ask if you have, general comments on here and there, anything.
Yes, on the song. I think you know I've not heard the remix, but just listening to the original song and hearing that these people are on the song, I'm not really sure what to expect. I just found out about the remix this morning, but I feel like if at all like the remix was necessary, maybe it would have been someone that has like a Fuji type of vibe. Maybe someone like Terry Akbala would have been necessary. I don't know. I was just shocked by hearing that Odumodu is now on the song and Bodge as well. Like, I don't know where these worlds collide, but yeah, that's just what I thought. And also, I think some songs don't require remixes, but like Nelson said, maybe for marketing strategies. For example, that song Teria Bala Bala Disco, I loved the song the original way, the way it was, but probably to boost the song, he had to add Wizkid and Shay vibes onto the song, and it did well. It got in the top 100 charts and it got the recognition it deserved. But unfortunately, people don't feel or know the true beauty of the original song because the remix made waves. But some songs just don't require remixes. But for the necessity of popularity or getting streams, I guess he had to do what he had to do. So we not go blame the guy. Person got stopped at the end of the day.
That's the way it
Yes,
is.
so yes, so
Let's jump to micro samples. Nels, does anybody have micro samples they want to share?
yeah. I actually this is a setup, man. Isa, we're coming to you directly. I already told you. Isa, where are the micro samples? I know you have been, chopping on some of them lately. So it's fine for you to give us a lowdown of all things you have worked on lately. Just give us a quick one. I really wanted this session to be for you. So yeah, just give us maybe 5 minutes. Just talk about like some of the micro samples you have talked on, so we don't put too much pressure. The ones you have already talked about already on Instagram. So at least give the people a feel of what it is like to be on your Instagram page.
Sure. So some micro samples. We have what's the name? Shay vibes with different patterns. When I first heard the song, I knew that there was something fishy about this song, and I felt like I had heard it because the beginning of the song is like a muffled sound. It sounds very old, as if they were in 19 something and they just entered studio and they didn't mix and master it. And I guess that was intentional so that you could feel the feel of the original song, which was by Orlando. I don't really remember the name. I know it's in Yoruba, but the name is hard for me to remember. But he interpolated, or I'm not sure if it's a sample because I can't really tell if Shay Vibes re-recorded or he just took and he pasted. So it's really hard to tell. But that sample really stuck with me, and it's probably why people fell for different pattern. It has that highlight vibe, which the original song also has a highlight vibe. And it's good that he maintained that vibe as well, because if he didn't, then I don't think that the song would have lived up to people's expectations. And also you can hear, drums that are associated with high life. You can hear the guitar style, and Shay Vibes just surprised us because we were used to his normal piano, comparing him to Ashake, and then he surprised us with a song like Different Vibe. And then maybe another song would be Every Day by Fireboy, which is like a very small sample. I think it's actually you guys that told me about it. I think it was the Oruk. Please correct me if I don't know how to pronounce it. By Sunny Neji. That song, I think.
Uruka
Yes,
by Sonny Niji.
yes. So when Fireboy says, "Tell me where you there," it really resembles the "It's your wedding day." I don't know if there's really like a
Yeah,
connection, but a
it
lot of
is, it is,
people
it is, it is, it is, it is. You're right. You're on the right path.
a lot of people on Twitter actually said the same thing. And it's interesting how things like this can fly over your head if you haven't heard the song before, because prior to this, I didn't even know that it was like gotten from that song until you guys brought it to my attention. So that is also a sample. And then a song like Ashake, Fuji Vibe, I think we all know that the drum was interpolated from I don't know. I think the song sounds like respect, my brother, no
Okay,
need.
Ayuba.
Yes, yes, yes,
Ayuba,
Yeah,
yes.
Ayuba.
Okay, yeah.
yeah. That digidigidum,
Yeah, yeah,
digidigidum. Yeah. I think it's towards the end of that song. Like,
yeah, that part. So, and he also interpolated his me I know they cap me I know they for my energy in the same Fuji vibe as well. So I guess that song, apart from it just being vibes, you had the old Ashake meeting old Fuji and actually it being a Fuji vibe. So I think these are some of the micro samples from the years or from last year that we missed out on, and I'm sure there's plenty more, but for the sake of time, I'll just stop it here.
Yeah, right. Nels, can I go?
Yeah, definitely, bro.
Yeah. Just to Ashake, there's one particular micro, and I just to say, micro samples, micro interpolations, they happen every time in Afrobeats. Like people pick this one, and then they flip it, pick from an old song, flip it, and this is in lyrics. So yeah, Ashake did something on Kibai. Um, um, Mi ò ṣakọ Ọlọ́run. Mi ò ṣakọ is from Remedies in 1999. Mi ò ṣakọ yes. And as simple as that is, I like things like that. I have three micro samples, right? Micro interpolations. There's this Fuji artist called um, Remi Aluko. He does this. He is the most hip, if I want to say. She tries to connect a lot with the Afrobeats people. He did a song with Conga and they're doing Kaba Kaba, which was pretty big at the time. So Igwe Remi Aluko, that's what they call him. So there's this album or there's like track he calls Dajupa, and on that track he bites Arambe by Brimo. He does it nicely and he connects it with the beat and the juju setting, and it's really, really nice. Fuji setting, I should say. Yesterday I was listening to One Day's Go Low, and that's like I'm going to jam it a lot this weekend. It's a very, very
my bro. I'm
like
sorry,
crazy.
I'm busting you, but
It's a
another
banger.
moment to
What,
say
what the hell?
one day cool.
Oh, that
I
was so
cannot say
sick.
it enough.
You know what I
I
was
cannot
thinking
say it
yesterday
enough.
when I was listening? If that song dropped today, it's going to
Bro,
do so well in Nigeria
bro.
because now we have the ears of the world. If that song drops today, please everybody go and listen to that song again after this
Oh,
call. Go low by One Code. So
see,
good. It's such a banger. Go ahead.
I need to add one more song. That's what's up. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
I
I'm
heard that
telling
yesterday.
you. See, that was my name. It's WCZ.
One
See
day
that song alone. If now they're doing remixes of song, I don't touch it to just get the stems
we
and
engineer.
rejig. And now that we're having like see, don't one day cool is next level, next level. And
So
that
on
just
that
takes me.
song,
I'm just going to talk about one micro sample and then like maybe you can round up for us.
yeah. No,
That's the song.
let me just add mine before you wrap up because we're actually
Okay.
but
Okay.
so
Okay.
that's no go low by One Day did a tiny interpolation from like Lisa Stansfield's very popular song. Been around the world, yeah.
Been
I
around the
can
world,
find
yeah.
one. So as simple as it is, I just like the way he picked that and then put it in his writing. Again, this is a very micro, very tiny interpolation, but I just like that. And I think I have one more. Somebody was pointing it out on Twitter yesterday that Ruga's Rock Minds did a tiny production interpolation of Lose You by CK. And while I was listening, I also caught Dai's Pim Pim. There's a tiny interpolation of Pim Pim on Ruga's Rob Mind. So it's a new song on Ruga's album. Those are the simple, the few micro samples, micro interpolations that I caught. Yeah.
Okay, before we round up, just to talk about quickly. Well, Ira Star's album had jazzy song in it, and it took like not interpolated, just sampled You Bad by Wande Cole. And that just takes me all the way back. I think nobody should argue anymore. When they say the best debut Afrobeat album of all time, it's only one person and one person alone. It's Wande Cole, Mushi to Mohit. Every of the song on that album, every single song had major impact. Even to as small as once upon a time they could tell us say $1 is equal to 1 naira. Like that's shit I like this good day. That album is solid from beginning to the end. and I really like the way they sampled it. I think Fireboy also did something one day's Bob. I think there was a one day Cole's stuff in there as well. I can't remember exactly which one, but micro samples basically. Yeah, you remember?
The kick.
Oh yeah, when you hear the kick, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's another great one. But yeah, maybe we might need to jump on the train. I feel like this would probably be like a time for assignment before we round up. You guys are music enthusiasts. I like to call you music connoisseurs as well because I mean, they pass like this. So basically, I'd like to hear you guys all round though. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. And I'm not reducing the scale any which ways from time past till now, right? The biggest intro for Nigerian music. I want top 10. I don't let us restrict to top 5. From time past till now, time America till now. That's our first thing we're going to talk about next episode. That's an assignment to you guys.
Yeah, no pressure.
Please go crazy. Go crazy. When I mean go crazy, I mean Magic Fashek, Venu Marioge, Obionyo Ha, Chris Mba. I know I'm talking old people now. To Yellow Man, go crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. So we're just going to give word to our, people who watch this. Thank you, our fans.
Yeah,
People
big thanks to
who
everybody.
listen as well. Thank you very much. And of course, for now we're back monthly. That could change anytime, but for now we'll run monthly episodes and
Yeah.
do a compilation. We'll also like to have your feedback on YouTube or on Spotify or via our mail. That'll be in the show notes. sampleaxis1@gmail.com.
Also, I'm
us
sorry,
anything.
I'm butting in, but like just before we run them quickly, I think there was a question that we wanted like people to talk about, like something in particular. I think Louisa, you had
Yeah,
something you wanted to talk about. Can you still remember that?
Yeah, it's just to know what you guys are listening to. Plug us, whether it's for
right.
Yeah.
10 years,
Yes. So,
50 years ago. Yeah, just tell us what you're listening to.
yes,
Okay.
you can leave us a message. Send us a mail. sampleaxis1@gmail.com. What are you listening to over this month and close to the time that you send us the mail? Just like you fill your post, we want to know what's on your playlist as well. So yeah, that's about it. Anything else before we go?
Yeah, it's about it for me, man. It's about me. It's been a great one. I'm excited. I can't wait for the next episode. Glad to see your nice faces. You guys are looking good. I don't know what you guys are eating, but it's showing in your body, you know. But yeah, all
All
right.
right.
We'll talk again.
Thanks,
All right.
Lisa, as well. Thank you, Nelson.
Yeah, sure.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
All right.
Take
All
care.
right.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Yeah.